Hello my friends, it's Sean Vigue with SeanVigueFitness.com. We have a very special guest stopping by my channel today, Lesley Fightmaster from Lesley Fightmaster Yoga. She's going to be doing a vinyasa flow for headstand routine, which is just going to knock your socks off and have you inverted in no time at all. If you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and comment below. And also check out the video I just did for Lesley's channel. I did a 20-minute cardio Pilates workout. That is in the About section. Make sure you go over there and like the video and subscribe. All right, without further ado, Lesley is standing by. Enjoy this, my friends. I give you Lesley Fightmaster.
Hello, it's Lesley Fightmaster, and thank you so much to Sean Vigue for asking that we could do a collaboration together. So this is a video that we decided to do on headstands. So for headstands, we need to open up our shoulders a little bit. We need to strengthen our core muscles. So we're going to do all of that and then end up with the headstands. Starting in child's pose, you can either rest your head on the mat, or you could rest your head on your hands. And then as you take your next exhale, we'll just interlace the fingers at the low back and reach the arms up toward the ceiling. Take a breath there, stretching out the shoulders. And then exhale, releasing the arms back down. Sweep them in front of you. Stretch out your arms till the elbows are straight. And then in your next exhale, walk your hands off to the right as you shift your hips over to the left. Taking a couple of breaths there. Inhale, bring the hands through center, and exhale, walk them to the left as you shift your hips off to the right. Again, lengthening out through the side body, getting a nice stretch to the right side. Come back to center, inhale. Exhale, interlace the fingers, other pinky on top, and reach the arms up. You can also hook your thumbs or hold on to a towel or a strap, and that might give you a little bigger opening if the shoulders are kind of tight. And then we'll come up onto the hands and the knees. Sliding your right arm underneath the left, you'll come onto your right shoulder and take your left hand behind you, right to your low back, or hook it around onto your right thigh. As you do, pull your left shoulder back and roll the left top of the shoulder open, widening the collarbones. And then come on up, back to table. We'll do the other side. Left arm slides under the right, and then bringing your right arm behind you, either to the low back or reach around and hook it onto the thigh, rolling your right shoulder back and pulling your right hip back. Shoulder blades are moving toward each other. Come back to center, back to table as you come through. And walk the hands forward about a handprint. Tuck your toes under and come into downward facing dog with your arms shoulder distance and your feet hips width, and then start to bend one knee and the other, bicycling your legs. Make sure that you spread your fingers wide. Look forward, step the feet all the way up. Take an inhale to lengthen your spine, exhale to fold. Inhale, reach all the way up and stretch up, and exhale, the hands to the heart. A little tuck in of the shirt for this video it's kind of appropriate since we're going to go upside down. So coming back to the front of your mat, lift your chest, soften your shoulder blades, firm your legs, press evenly through your feet. And inhale to circle the arms up. Exhale, folding and hinging from the hips, reach the crown of your head down. Inhale, make a nice long spine. Exhale, step to plank and lower chaturanga. Inhale into up dog or into cobra. If up dog is a bit too much, I'll do that on the next go around. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. This is a sun salutation. Usually on the first one I take a cobra pose and work that, but today I just didn't do that. So look forward, step or hop your feet. Inhale, make a nice long spine. Exhale and fold forward, lift your belly in and up. Inhale, press down through the feet to rise up and look up. And exhale, the hands to the heart. Again, inhale, reaching up. As you exhale, hinge forward from the hips and lower down. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Keep the gaze slightly forward as you step it back into plank. Shift forward, this time lowering all the way down to your belly. You can always take your knees down first. Interlace your fingers at the low back. Start to reach your chest up and lift your legs, spinning the inner thighs up toward the ceiling, pressing the outer hips down toward the mat, like you're squeezing a block between the legs. And we'll release that down. Take a breath here, and then lightly press your pubic bone into the floor, tailbone toward heels, and lift up again, interlacing the fingers, other pinky or thumb on top, and widening the collarbones, shoulder blades moving in toward each other, inner thighs spinning up, and release down to rest a moment. Continuing in and out through the nose with your breathing. Try and keep your inhales and your exhales equal in length. Hands by your rib cage. Inhale either cobra or up dog, and exhale, tuck your toes, stretch into down dog. Ran into the wall. On your inhale, float your right leg back and up with nice level hips. As you exhale, step it through, taking the left knee to the floor. You can always fold your mat over for more support on the left knee. Inhale to come up, spinning the triceps forward. Drop your tailbone as you sink your hips and pull your right hip back, sending your left hip forward. Looking up, we're going to bend the right elbow, take the right hand toward the shoulder, bring your left arm behind your back, and either hold your clothes or clasp your hands. If you're not wearing clothes, maybe grab a towel. Roll your left shoulder back as you reach your right elbow straight up toward the ceiling, spinning your right tricep in toward your face. Nice shoulder stretching. Let's release that. Straighten the front leg. Take an inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale, fold over the straight front leg as you continue to pull your right hip back, stretching the hamstrings here. And then rebend it and step back into plank. Lower through chaturanga. Inhale, press through the hands and feet, and exhale, come to down dog. As you inhale, float the left leg up with level hips. On your exhale, you're going to step it lightly through. If it doesn't make it, pick it up and put it all the way up. Back knee down. You can pat up the knee if you need any. Inhale to come up. So pull the left hip back, drop the tailbone down, and then start to sink the hips forward as you stretch up through the arms. Lengthen through all four sides of your waist, and then bend your left elbow, take it toward the upper back, right arm behind, either clasping the hands or holding onto your shirt or whatever you got handy, and then continue to pull the left hip back. Spin your left tricep in toward your face, the elbow straight up toward the ceiling, and roll your right shoulder back. Shoulder blades are moving down toward the waist. Releasing, tuck the back toes. Make your way back into plank, inhaling into up dog or cobra, and exhaling all the way back into downward facing dog. I just realized I think I forgot that other stretch. Uh-oh. So straighten out the left leg when you get a chance and do a forward fold there. Right leg back and up, knee to nose. Spin your back heel flat, coming into warrior two. So you're lining up front heel and back arch. And then reverse. Make sure your right knee is over the ankle. Get a nice stretch in the side. And then inhale to straighten the right leg. Bigger stretch in the side. Take your arms to a T and shift your hips back as you lean forward for triangle pose, Trikonasana. So your right hand can go anywhere on your leg, above or below your knee, or maybe to the floor or to the foot. And draw your right hip underneath you as you press into the base of the big toe of your right foot. Looking down, take your left hand to your hip and we'll float into Ardha Chandrasana. So the right hand's about 12 inches in front on the pinky toe side of your foot. Back leg floats up and reach your left hip toward your heel. So sitting bone toward the heel will be the same action we take when we get to our headstand. Let's slowly come down into a warrior two. Take an inhale here. Exhale, cartwheel the arms down to the floor. Take plank and lower down through chaturanga. Knees can always be down there. Inhale into up dog or cobra, always your choice. Exhale to down dog. Left leg floats up, inhale. And exhale, just going to hover for a moment using the belly muscles and then step it through between the hands right in the middle. Come on up into warrior two. So your front heel lines up with the back arch. And reverse. Straighten the front leg on your inhale. And exhale there. Get a nice stretch to the side. Come on up on your inhale, arms to a T. Shift your hips toward the back and lean as far forward as you can. Left hand down wherever it reaches. Shin, foot, floor, block if you have it. Reach through the right arm. Stretch the crown of the head forward. Look up at your right hand unless it bothers your neck. Moving the front hip under you. Get length through the spine. Press into the base of the big toe of your left foot. Looking down, knee over ankle as you make this transition. Right hand to hip, left hand about 12 inches in front on the pinky toe side of your left foot. And then extend the right arm up if you're steady. So the right hip is about in the same line as your heel, and stretch your right hip toward the heel. Press the foot like you're pressing it into an imaginary wall, so that top leg is very active. And then slowly start to set yourself down into a warrior two with the knee back over the ankle. Take an inhale here. Exhale, the hands down to the mat, stepping back through chaturanga. Inhale to press up, and exhale to float back. Back to downward facing dog, and then onto the hands and the knees. And then turn your inner elbows toward the front of the mat. So you can see how you can turn them to face each other or toward the front of the mat. Keep them turning toward the front of the mat as you slowly make your way into downward facing dog. So what that does, it spins your triceps, your outer upper arms back toward your feet, and your biceps, your inner arms toward the front of your mat, which is a great action for our headstands. Now we're going to interlace the fingers with the elbows bent on the mat right underneath your shoulders, and then tuck the toes into dolphin pose. So same action with the outer upper arms. We try to spin them back toward the feet, the inner arms, the biceps toward the front of the mat, and then you're pressing into the forearms and lifting the shoulders. Walk back about a foot, drop your hips about into the same line as the shoulders, pressing through the upper back. Keep the crown of the head reaching forward and your tailbone reaching toward the heels. Inner thighs spinning up, backs of the knees pressing toward the ceiling, and the belly is lifted in and up. Walk your feet in, lift your hips up, still pressing the shoulders lightly up away from the mat. And then we'll take a little child's pose. Heads resting on the arms, or you can just rest it on the mat, whatever you prefer. And then we'll come back up. So I'm sticking my fingers in my ears because I'm weird. No, because I'm touching my middle fingers right at the top of my head. That's the crown of the head. That's the place that we want to have on the mat for a headstand. And it's important that we get the right place. Elbows right under shoulders. They may want to go wider than the shoulders. Don't let them. Interlace the fingers and let your head rest lightly in your palms, but try not to let your wrists bend so you have a straight wrist. And now practice pressing your head on the mat, and then practice pressing into the elbows and lifting it off the mat. So head down on the mat, press and lift the head off the mat. Let the head come down and lift. So you're lifting the shoulders up away from the floor to help with that action. Now when you're in a headstand, you should only have about 30% of the weight on the crown of your head. 70% of the weight should be on your arms and your shoulders lifting up away from the floor to help support that strength in the arms and the shoulders. To set up for your headstand, interlace your fingers again just like before, except take your knuckles all the way to the wall. Take the very crown of the head onto the floor, then start to walk your feet up any amounts. You're just trying to get your hips to come a little bit past the shoulders if possible, and then we'll lift one leg up and the other. Notice I didn't hurl my legs up against the wall. We'd prefer if you don't jump up into a headstand. You might not have the flexibility to go up with straight legs, and that's fine. You can always go up with bent knees. Coming down, one leg at a time, and then be sure to take a child's pose when you're finished, because when you go upside down, you'll get a little bit dizzy sometimes, and that child's pose will help you from standing up and getting too dizzy to stand. So we'll interlace the fingers and do the same thing again. Crown of the head down. So see how I moved my elbows wide? That tends to happen, and we want to try and keep the elbows right under the shoulders for more support. So as you walk the feet in, this time I'm going to bend the knees, and you can take one up at a time or both. This takes a little more core work to do both knees at the same time, but you can practice that one if you like. And legs up. When my legs are up, I'm squeezing my thighs like I'm squeezing a block between the inner thighs. My belly's drawn in, my rib cage is lifted, tailbone's reaching to the heels. And remember, pressing into the forearms and the elbows and the wrists as you lift the shoulder blades up toward the waist so that you don't have much pressure on the head. We want to, like I said, about 30% or even less. Coming down the same way I went up, I'm going to bend the knees, take heels toward my buns, and then my knees down toward the floor with my thighs toward the belly. And then as slowly as I can, I'll set my feet down and rest in child's pose. So that is our headstand. So of course you can continue practicing your headstand and increasing the amount of time that you hold it. But to begin, it's best to just do a little bit at a time. And then after you do your child's pose second time, we're going to take a downward facing dog. And in this down dog, we want to release the head and neck because we just had all that pressure on it. So lightly nodding the head yes and no helps to release our neck. And then look forward. We're going to come through and lie back for bridge pose. This is another good pose to release the neck after a headstand. So take your feet hips width, make the outer edges of the feet parallel, pull in your belly, press into the heels and lift up. Lift the hips, the low back, the mid back, and maybe the upper back. Either keep the palms flat or interlace the fingers behind your back and keep your chin away from your chest. Breathing in and out through the nose, breathe it into the chest as much as you can. Release and lower down. And then we'll just rest, soles the feet together with knees apart. This is called Supta Baddha Konasana. And I like to use the Sanskrit names of the words sometimes, or of the poses sometimes. So pressing into the heels again, we'll come on up to bridge, interlace the fingers or palms flat, spiral the thighs in toward each other, and again, keep the crown of the head reaching away from your chest with a nice long neck. Reach the tailbone to the backs of the knees to lengthen out your spine. Come down to rest, and this time we'll hug the knees into the chest. Rocking a little bit side to side, we'll release our back, and then arms to a T, and drop the knees over to the left and look over the right shoulder. It's a little twist again to release the back. And inhale, center. Exhale. We'll take the knees over to the right and turn to look over the left shoulder. Of course, if it doesn't feel good on your neck to look over your shoulder in these twists, then don't. Just look straight up. If you want a deeper twist, you can cross your right knee over the left knee. Inhale, center. And then reaching for pinky toe sides of the feet. This is happy baby. If you're a real happy baby, you can rock yourself side to side. Otherwise, you can stay in one place. Keep reaching the tailbone down toward the floor to lengthen out your spine here. And then we'll draw the knees in one last time and extend the legs out for Shavasana. I happen to be close to the wall, and I like the way it feels to press my feet into the wall. It gives me a little more support. However, it's not a requirement for Shavasana. You can let your feet just flop right open. Palms by your sides with your, arms by your sides with your palms facing up. And the most important thing is to just relax. So while you're here, quiet breath, quiet mind, and rest. And Shavasana is an important part of our practice. It allows all of the work that we did to just integrate into our bodies. And as you practice your yoga, and I'm sure you've practiced with Sean, you know that yoga helps to quiet the mind. It helps us to find a little bit of peace in our bodies and in our minds. So that is why I really love the practice, is because it helps to bring me peace and a little quietness. I always like to end with a quote, and today's quote is from the Peace Pilgrim, who said, "When you find peace within yourself, you become the kind of person who can live at peace with others." Start to reawaken your body, stretch your arms overhead, make some movements in your fingers, toes, hands, and feet. And then we'll bend the knees, roll off to the right side, and just pause there for a moment. Pausing for gratitude for all of our blessings. And then pressing up to seated. And crossing at the shins, sit up nice and tall, bringing the hands together. And let's bring the hands up to the forehead to remind us to have clear and loving thoughts. And the hands to the heart center to remind us to have clear and loving intentions. And the hands to the mouth to remind us to have clear and loving communications. I honor each of you. Thank you so much for sharing some time with me today. Namaste. The light in me recognizes and salutes the light in you. If you liked our class today, please push the like button. If you want to see more free yoga classes, please subscribe to Fightmaster Yoga. And I have a retreat coming up, a yoga retreat in February for the ladies off the coast of Cancun. Or if you are interested in teacher training, please contact me. And I hope you have a great day. Namaste. Bye.